Connection with Shade Network activated. Audio file download commencing. Files marked extremely sensitive. Strategic Homeland Division only. Agent commencing transmission.
What's up? You listen to episode 155 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of the Division 2. Phase 1 of the PTS is live, and there are going to be some big changes coming soon to PvP. But first, my name is Mike. Joining me, as always, are my co-hosts, Robert.
Hello.
And Luke.
Well, hello.
Hello. Hope you guys have had a great week, as well as our listeners, and welcome to any new listeners of the show. First off, good week, lads?
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I guess.
You guess.
Have
You're sure.
Have you been ill this week, Mike?
No, I've been good. I'm good now.
Says
Thank you very much.
old Captain fucking Day Off over there.
Who? Rob?
Rob, yeah.
What?
Dude, I went to work with my tonsillitis.
I don't have any tonsils, so I can't use that as an excuse.
Does
Well,
your
that
boss
would
know
be a
you've
good
got no
one.
tonsils?
I was going to say,
No,
it's
they
not like
don't.
your work
Shit.
news.
Well done.
You could wake
I'm
up in a
back.
panic and tell your boss that you can't find your tonsils.
I've got to go to the hospital because they're going to put my tonsils back in. I need 6 weeks off, unfortunately.
Oh, dear.
I mean, it's worth a try, right?
Yeah.
I've got to ask, have you got a diary? Do you keep a diary of what the last excuse was?
No. I don't need to. I've recently changed jobs. All the old excuses can be reused again.
I mean, that's a valid point.
That is a good point, but wait, I'm guessing once you've used all your excuses up, you just have to change jobs again.
Yeah. Why do you think I change jobs so often?
Makes sense. Anyway, enough about Rob's sick life, I guess. Let's get down to some news.
State of the game.
Okay, so first up, the PTS is live for PC players. It's available right now to anyone who owns the Division 2 on PC and on Uplay. Okay, starting today, April 17th, you're going to be able to try out the new features and changes that could be coming with Title Update 3. Unfortunately, there's some bad news that kind of comes alongside all this.
Ooh.
The raid has been pushed from April 25th till May 2019.
Means I'm going to have to book more time off work.
Book more time off
Yeah.
work. Are you sure you mean book?
You mean just come up with another illness excuse like we were
yeah.
literally just talking about?
Well, at least you've got tonsillitis. You can use that one. But yeah, unfortunately, Operation Dark Hours will not be launching next week. We'll have to wait till May. Any thoughts on that, boys? Are you sad?
I'm a little bit sad, but there's good reasons for it.
Yeah, literally every word Rob just said was what I was going to say. So
Anyway, the Division 2 obviously is a live game, boys.
No.
And there's a lot of things in flux. New things were added in the patch recently. We got some sweet new exotics that are pretty awesome. Right?
Yeah?
Some sweet new gear sets and brand pieces. Well, we didn't get new brand pieces, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so the PTS is basically going to be testing some new what was it? We're going over some bugs and fixes with Title Update 3. So when that drops, the main decision to actually push the raid is to fix the game as best they can and actually bring some balance changes before Update 3 is released going into the raid. Are we happy with getting a PTS? Pretty sure we discussed this last week, but
we did, and we were
very happy.
And I'm still happy that there's a PTS. I'm sure very happy is a bit of a step too far, but
well, we'll see. There's been some changes that I don't think everybody's happy about. Would you agree, at least on that?
Yeah, there was a bit of salt flying around today, wasn't there?
Yeah, but we'll get to that.
Can I just say, like we always do in this podcast before we go any further, it's a PTS. It's for testing shit. Just because they've nerfed patience or whatever else they might have nerfed in phase 1 of the PTS doesn't necessarily mean that's how it's going to come out in a couple of weeks. Can everybody just
It's
fucking
literally
chill out
in the
for a little
acronym.
bit?
It's literally in the acronym. Please test shit. Right?
Please test
Is that what it
I like
stands
that.
for?
Yeah, please test shit.
Holy shit.
They've got a please test shit server running right now.
Here's me thinking it was public test server all this time. What
Well,
an
it's
idiot.
not public because it's not open to everyone, is it? Otherwise, it'd be on console. That's another thing as well. Fortunately, it isn't on console.
PC test server.
Yes. So hopefully, a lot of these changes don't cause any issues for console players. But hopefully, we get a console-specific PTS in the future. But we'll see. The previous ones didn't go very well. Anyway, that's the PTS. If you want to go check it, go try it out. Obviously, go give your feedback on the forums, all the usual places. Give as much information as you can. I'm pretty sure Reddit's got like a format for giving feedback that you can go check out. Anyway, moving on to State of the Game and news. Okay, so Hamish was joined by Terry and Ryan from Redstorm today to discuss PvP changes that will be coming soon, as well as stuff that is going to be changed on the PTS.
Where was Keith?
I don't know, but he has had a child recently, so I
Oh.
expect he could still be on paternity leave.
I'll let him off.
What was that, Luke? Go on, correct me.
No,
I
it's
corrected
fine.
myself.
You did it
Free
yourself.
holiday.
Free holiday.
Somebody's-
Definitely not.
Somebody's got some of that free holiday coming up, haven't they, Mike?
Yeah, but it's legit.
He's going to be working more at home.
Yeah, I probably am.
That's what's so funny about it.
Okay, so first changes come into PvP normalization, boys. How do we feel about normalization in the minute? Good, bad?
Shit.
Why? Why do you think it's shit?
Because you have to have two builds. Like, for everything.
Is that not one of the things they fixed?
Yeah.
So it's not shit anymore.
Well, we don't know that yet. I haven't played it.
Yeah, we have to test it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to test shit. Got to test shit.
Okay, so Rob, how does current normalization work?
I don't really know. Does it take you down to gear score 450?
I don't know if it takes you down to a certain gear score.
It does.
But
It definitely does,
Takes-
because they said it now takes you up to gear score 500.
Yes, it does. So all weapons and equipment will be normalized to gear score 500, even if the gear you're running, which we'll talk about later on, is higher than that. But yeah, normally it basically gets dropped like a midpoint, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think Rob is right when he said 450. So I don't think they changed it from when they introduced World Tier 5. So
Are you guys happy with that? The fact that it's basically going to kind of go to max rolls for the World Tier 5.
I'm not so much. I'm a bit indifferent about that. I don't think it really matters, because if it's getting normalized, what difference does it make what number it's at? Because everybody else is at that number. It's the other changes they brought in so that you're.
But like this means that if your gear score around gear score 500, then when you get normalized, it's not going to change much.
Yeah.
There's that, but obviously they've already said that if you're right on the cusp and then normalization takes a talent away from you, because you had it unlocked before normalization, it will still be unlocked after normalization. The same with your skill power and your skill mods.
Yeah, so your skill mods and skill power are basically going to be active pretty much as they are when you're obviously without normalization out in PvE.
Yeah, so it should from my understanding of it should be literally your damage numbers, your armor values, and your health values that are like normalized. Whereas if you've got gear talents and that open before, you will have them open afterwards. I think it should give a rounder feel of what your build felt like pre-normalization.
Yeah, as long as we don't end up in this weird situation with the Division 1, which, I mean, it looks like they're trying to counter, obviously, with the skill power and the mods, where stuff isn't being unlocked. Because that was definitely a problem with the normalization in the Division 1, wasn't it? It was like, you had a build, you take it in there, and it's like, half of it doesn't work, so you have to basically have, as Rob said prior, 2 builds, one for normalized, and it looks like that's what they're trying to get out of.
That was especially apparent when the classified gear sets came out, wasn't it, in Division 1?
Yeah.
You had to roll everything into, was it health for the extra bleed? So that would have fixed that, I guess, back then, but that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I went around conflict last night, and that's obviously normalized, and I was seeing like crit numbers and damage numbers being nerfed. So that's one of the things that is just basically going to go in as you have it in the open world as well. So it's kind of cool. Global PvP modifiers were talked about. We kind of knew they were in the game. Did we know what the actual modifier stat was prior to this?
Possibly.
I would imagine some data miners find it. I've not read it, so it was nice to get some confirmation on what that was.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. Well, I expect you've seen all Microstyle's videos, so I'm surprised you weren't too sure on it, Rob.
Yeah, but it's just an arbitrary number. It can, But
okay, so sorry, Rob.
They're reducing it, aren't they?
Yeah, what are they reducing it to?
40%.
From
70%. Like, it's percentages based, so that number is kind of doesn't really matter. But that's going to bring the time to kill down quite significantly.
Yes,
it's going to halve it. Well, almost.
Yeah, and their reasoning behind this is so you've got way more time to react in PvP fights. Yeah. Is this a good thing?
Yeah.
Obviously, we kind of put this out there now. We've been in the occupied DZ for most of the week.
With limited amount of success, yeah.
I went in there once. Maybe twice.
Yeah, you spent the whole time going, I just want a PvE.
Yeah, I did.
And then
I just
running around killing
farm.
people. Are you going to be sad when all the PvP kind of gets a little bit better? And
I won't be able to farm anymore.
No. But yeah, it definitely needs a bit more time to react, but I still kind of like the TTK and the ODZ. So, I don't know.
I can see that 40% being increased slightly.
Yeah.
To me, that feels like they've gone as far as they ever dared to go, and then they'll creep it back up a little bit during the different PTS phases. Which,
yeah, we should probably. I was going to say we should probably say this now that they're going to hit a lot of stuff pretty hard with the first pass, and then they're going to kind of buff stuff or nerf stuff as we go through the next couple of phases of the PTS. So I understand like everyone's flipping their shit at the minute over talents and other stuff we'll talk about. But it's a PTS. It's like things are going to change. That's the unfortunate thing. It's like next week, we're probably going to end up talking about the PT. Well, not unfortunate, but we're probably going to be going over the same ground again, depending on what gets changed week to week. But we'll see. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, they did it with the betas. Like they tend to go to extremes. Like on the closed beta was quite tough, like NPC wise, and then on the open beta they made it super easy to kill, time to kill.
Yeah.
So, and then they put it somewhere in the middle. So I'm sure they'll do the same thing.
That's a good point. I'd forgot about that actually, Rob.
How do you feel about the skill? What is it?
Skill damage modifier has been increased from 20% to 25%. Yeah.
It's not much of a buff at all, is it?
No, how we've just praised them for going in deep on the first change and then going to dial that back on this one. It feels like they've done the exact opposite.
But then they've got to be careful because
I agree.
Certain skills
if they make it too good,
shot.
people will. Yeah.
I'm just wondering if 5% is enough for anybody to notice a difference. Do you know what I mean? Like 5% here, then people will say, well, skills still aren't good enough. Before you know it's 30%, then they're still saying it's not good enough because if you're only creeping 5% at a time, people will forget where it was to start with. So instead of jumping 15% and go, whoa, shit, everything's too powerful. If you're only creeping up ever so slight increments, it just gets lost in translation, I feel.
Yeah, the other thing I'm worried about is if they do buff it, if they'd have buffed it straight away, we get to a point where we buff it quite a bit and everyone's like, it's pretty good, leave it there, but it's OP as hell and it doesn't get changed. Because stuff like that, especially like we've seen it, stuff's been quite bad the last week of the PTS and lo and behold, that's made it into the final patch, unfortunately.
But this is sskill damage within PvP again though, right?
Yes, this is all PvP. Yeah. And this is
sure.
Modified separately to PvE. Something they were very particular about stating on
And I
this week's news.
Just remind everybody this is something that we asked for a long time in the first game. So
what the fact of having a completely separate PvP modifier? Yeah.
Sorry to talk over you. The fact that the ODZ has a separate PvP modifier that at the moment is set to 40% like the other modifier, but that can be independent.
Yes, so up at 60. With all the changes that they're making, I still think you could do that. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but all I know at the minute from Division 2 is the Occupied DZ. I haven't run normalization, like a normalized DZ yet. Half of that's my fault because I haven't unlocked the mission. So I just joined you guys and we go in the Occupied DZ because I normally join Luke. Luke's already in there. I'm like, well, fuck it, let's go. So I do like that. I do like the fact that there's a completely separate modifier. That is fucking cool. I like that.
I do.
Maybe it's just me kind of nerding out.
No, I like it. I think it's a good idea. If they want to dial back the normal DZ and then, like they've said before, let everybody go ham in the ODZ. Like Rob says, they could just up it from 40 to 50 or 60 or, I mean, fuck it, back all the way to 70 if they want to.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's their... Yeah. No, you want at 100%.
Yeah.
Fuck. One bullet.
Everybody's running one-shot snipers again.
Jesus, it'd be like Siege.
One shot pistols.
One shot to one killer.
We've already got, what was it, three bullet SMG kills?
Yeah.
Builds?
Three shot LMG builds as well, I think.
Anyway.
Or did.
Moving on.
They're not going to be a thing anymore with a 40% PvP modifier, are they? So.
Well, no.
Or with the nerf to some of the
stuff.
Talents. Yeah.
Stuff and things.
I think Rob's looking forward to discussing that.
No, I'm not.
I think it's like the third time you brought it up. Okay, Hipfire. We all love Hipfire, don't we, boys?
Yeah.
No.
I don't tend to use it, but I did kill someone when we played Skirmish the other day using Hipfire. It was funny.
Did you notice how many crits you got whilst you were Hipfire?
He did go down very quickly though.
Well, guess what? They've taken crits away from Hipfire in PvP.
Woo! No shit. That makes like complete fucking sense, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Honest, I thought Hipfire was pretty good. Like the way the accuracy of the
reticle.
Bullets. Yeah.
Reticle bloom on Hipfire is crazy. Yeah. So
you have to be very like standing on top of them for it to be good.
Well,
but yeah.
Obviously, people are stacking into weapon handling and accuracy as well for some of these builds because of Unhinged. So you're going to get shitloads of accuracy when you're hip firing. So it's kind of cool that they're taking it out. PvE is going to be exactly the same. Just state that again. This is only for PvP, and you'll still do critical damage. You're just not going to get any critical hits. Obviously, we've been in the Dark Zone this week. What?
That doesn't make any sense.
How can you do critical damage if you're not getting any critical hits?
Damage. You do.
You still do damage.
Yeah, I still do damage.
But no critics.
My brain's... Yeah. You know what I meant.
No, me and Luke were just looking puzzled.
It's like, what? Did I hear that right? I didn't want to call you out in case I'd heard it wrong.
No. It's fine. That's what you're here for, right?
Yeah.
Keep you in line.
Well, yeah. What was that? Are you Mickey Mouse?
Pluto.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not... Oh, fucking Rob did it. Okay, do you think we had enough loot in the DZ whilst we've been, farming in there, doing some sweet PvE? Because that's what it's there for, right?
No, we didn't really use it for that.
I mean, we got quite a lot of loot. Because
dude, there's been a fuck ton of loot. We might not have extracted it all.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say. We got plenty out because a lot of it wasn't contaminated, was it?
Yeah,
true.
That was something when we played the open beta. Something I was very kind of like. I've just had like 5-6 pieces from a 10-15 minute run in the Dark Zone. I thought it was meant to be like bits. And it kind of felt way too much. I don't know if I said it in the podcast then, but I know I definitely discussed it with you guys. And they're taking that into account, and they're going to drop less clean loot from normalized and ODZ locations. because they obviously want players to interact more and go through the extraction loop as they discussed.
Yep, I like that idea. That's how it should have been to start with, and how it always was in the first one, obviously. So,
I mean, with a lot of these changes, it definitely feels like we're kind of slowly moving back to a Division 1 Dark Zone. Very, very slowly. Rob, you happy with the changes? Or are you going to be pissed because of your sweet PvE farming?
No, it's fine. I'll let them have that one.
However, you can still going to get guaranteed contaminated loot, and high-level landmark bosses will have the ability to drop multiple items.
I'll just skip ahead a little bit in the script because it doesn't seem to me that it's in the right place. But to go along with the changes to contaminated loot, the default of your Dark Zone pouch will now contain 6 items. And they've changed 2 Dark Zone perks. So one perk will now increase that to 8 items. And another one further down the XP list will increase it all the way up to 10 items.
Okay, so another issue that, I'll be honest, I've noticed this week, landmark cooldowns are a little bit OP. Would you say, Luke?
They're a bit quick, and yes, that's what she said.
It's great for farming, though.
Well, yeah, it is, but I mean, we didn't even leave one landmark, and it was already back up by the time we even left.
It happens quite a few times. I went in there to farm some DNH tech, and I ran out of ammo because it just kept respawning, and I had to go back to a checkpoint just to get ammo.
Well, Rob, rejoice, because you're going to be able to, you're going to be encouraged to move around to different landmarks now, so you might get some more ammo.
No, I'm just going to wait.
Oh, okay, you're going to wait a whole minute, because that's what they're increasing the landmark cooldown to.
Yeah, minutes. Fine.
Sure?
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. I mean, don't thank me. I'm not the one making the change, but...
Oh, well, it seems like you are.
I wasn't out there with my billboard or my sign going, you need to make changes.
Did you super glue yourself to a bus so that they change landmark cooldowns?
No.
You can change yourself to a tree.
No.
You're not trying hard enough.
Did you set on fire an old building?
You were going to say a raccoon.
I thought you were going to say rabbit.
Well, it is Easter. I suppose it kind of makes sense. Luke, are you happy with that?
You want to set the Easter Bunny on fire? What the fuck, dude?
No comment.
Right, okay.
Are you happy with that anyway, Luke? I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it's fine.
If it means other places are going to be farmable.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, that was one thing I found in the ODZ. There was no reason to move around. It was like, right, clear a landmark, step out the landmark, check what gear you got, go back into the same landmark, kill it again, rinse and repeat. There's no reason to find one more landmark after you'd found the first one. So I still think a minute might be a little bit quick, but if it promotes people actually moving around in the DZ, then I'm all for it.
Well, like I said to you, I can understand why the cooldown's so quick is because the Dark Zone area is so small. So you want the landmarks to be available to farm. Otherwise, do you know what I mean? That's what people do. But I can also understand the other side that a minute, even at that point, is still quite quick. How long did we have to wait for landmarks to cool down in the Division 1? It was quite a while, wasn't it?
I want to say 10 minutes, but I might be completely not making that up.
Yeah.
I think it might have changed over the life cycle of the game a little
Probably
bit.
Did too, yeah.
But yeah.
Keeping you up, Mike.
Sorry. I was yawning. Next. Okay, so NPCs in the Dark Zone are a bit lethal.
No, they're not.
Will be less lethal.
What? They're less lethal, but they'll have more armor.
Yeah. That's why I said they are a bit lethal.
No,
you confused me then.
Really not. Which Dark Zone, though? Is this ODZ or just all of them?
I believe this is all of them.
Okay.
Well, this is one of the things they discussed today, wasn't it? Was the fact that when you end up in PvP instances, that you basically end up triggering NPCs, especially free roaming NPCs or landmarks, as found out ourselves this week.
Yeah, that was Monday, wasn't it, when you triggered that landmark behind us?
That was a little bit brutal. You got, two other teams and a landmark going off at the same time. So they're going to cut down some of the free roaming NPCs a little bit.
Yeah, the patrols.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the landmarks were probably going to stay the same.
Yeah, I think the way Terry worded it was like, we'll get rid of a lot of, not all, but a lot of the patrols. So if you want your PvE in the PvP area, you have to go and find it at the landmarks rather than it finding you. Obviously, ultimately ruining your PvP. So.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty tough. I mean, that is, if I remember right, only for the Occupied DZ as well. I will state that, if I haven't already. Pretty sure that was only for the Occupied DZ, just to kind of make those PvP interactions a little bit cleaner, opposed to, obviously, the normalized DZ, which is kind of for everybody, isn't it? It's for the farmers and for PvP players. Not that you shouldn't be farming in the ODZ. Be very careful what you say. But you know what I mean. Are you happy with that, Robert?
Yeah. Standard answer.
Good feedback.
You're welcome.
Thank you. The rogue changes. I did see a certain video on this week, Rob. I'm sure you've seen it as well. Marco Starr's video.
No, I haven't.
You've not seen his thoughts on PvP?
No. It's one of his videos I haven't watched.
All right, okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but he did say it would be nice if they actually add manhunt status to the ODZ. So that's actually happening, and rogue status will be returning. So that's what I mean. We're basically kind of going back towards a Division 1-esque Dark Zone.
When I heard this, I thought Luke was going to be really happy about this. Because it's like
his thing.
It's like 1.1 or 1.2 or whatever.
Yeah, they said that on State of the Game, didn't they? It's more like the vanilla Dark Zone from TD1 that everybody said was probably the best Dark Zone time. Which, if it gets close to that, I will be really happy with, yeah.
I think that's what people are looking for, though, at the minute, isn't it? They're looking more for that kind of vanilla PvP in the Dark Zone.
Well, they kept promising us the best Dark Zone iteration of all time, didn't they? With the launch of TD2 and the ODZ and how they changed everything, and it just kind of isn't.
I think it's kind of one-sided, though. I think it's probably the best for everyone, but not perhaps for the people that love the Dark Zone in the Division 1.
This update isn't coming. This isn't coming in title update 3, though, is it? This is
no
future. So
yeah, very near future. One. But are you happy with those changes? Obviously, I mean, we were seeing players getting killed in the ODZ last night, 300 meters away, but we didn't know where the hell they were, did we?
Yeah, I like that change. One change that I had got in my mind as a suggestion for the ODZ was that when you're in the ODZ and only the ODZ, all players were visible on the minimap at all times. But if they're going to do it this way, then fine.
I was going to say, that's quite... yeah, that's brutal if you did do that.
But that's what the ODZ was supposed to be, right? It was supposed to be the most brutal Dark Zone. Let me know where everybody is and I'll go and kill them.
Fuck, that would be brutal. I kind of like that, but I'd be scared as well.
I've been saving that.
The fact that everybody would know your location the whole time, you're just like looking over your shoulder.
Well, you know, the point of the ODZ was that it's PvP centric. You go in there, you can kill whoever the fuck you want at any time you want. If people did that in the normal DZ, you'd be rogue. Therefore, people would know where you were because you're on the map. Makes sense to always be visible on the map in the ODZ.
As soon as you walk in, you've already got a rogue. You're already a rogue.
Well, you're already rogue, or you can literally, they've just turn on the homing beacons, or whatever you want to call them, on the minimap. So you see like little red dots for where all 12 players are in the...
Yeah, because you used to see it in the Division 1, didn't you? You'd see where certain players were sometimes.
If you go back to the original iteration of Rogue and Manhunt, they were always visible on the map. It was only when they were balancing the rogue advantages and then the player advantages in the original Dark Zone, where they started making it like blinking icons and then disappearing icons and all that sort of shit. Just make everybody visible on the ODZ map. Let fucking chaos reign.
I like that. I really like that.
If the TTK stays the same as it is now, that would be
Terrible.
a scary and terrible thing, I think, maybe, in my eyes.
But try it on a PTS. It's what's it gonna hurt? You know, test it. If it doesn't work, get rid of it. I don't know. I do like that. Another change that they've actually made. So obviously, if you go rogue, get sent back to a checkpoint, and your team's still out there.
It's a polite way of putting it, Mike.
What if you go rogue and get sent back to a checkpoint?
Yeah. As opposed to if you go rogue and get your ass handed to you.
Yeah, if you get your ass handed to you as a rogue player and end up, if you should find yourself back at a checkpoint, you will find that you have a rogue cooldown currently. Well, do not fear, it's being removed. So you will basically sync up with the rest of your team when you're in proximity. I'm guessing much similar to the Division 1. There is a lot of like throwbacks to the Division 1 here.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's very much like, well, it didn't work. What do they do? What do we do in the Division 1? Right, cool. Let's do that. Player count. Are you happy with the fact we've got 12 players in a single Dark Zone at the minute, boys?
Luke isn't. I am.
Luke's not happy.
Not happy at all.
Okay, can you explain, Luke, please?
It's not enough. If you're in the Dark Zone as a team of 4, and they've already stated that they will then try and matchmake you with other teams of 4, that is 3 teams of 4. One of them is your team, so that instantly removes 4 people from PvP. That's just 8 other people to PvP with, and if they aren't looking for PvP or don't want to PvP, then what do I do? I know I could go play Conflict, but I don't want to. I want to play in the Dark Zone.
Go in the Dark Zone on your own.
Okay. What are you 3 going to do?
Go in the same Dark Zone.
What?
You sure you want to do that?
Solo?
Yeah.
Against me?
Yeah.
Right, Mike, wrap this podcast up. We're going in the Dark Zone.
No, because what they said on the
He's backtracking now. He's backtracking.
what
dig,
they
dig,
said
dig, dig, dig.
on the state of the game is 12 solo players in the ODZ is manic because they tested it. The problem is at the moment is that when you go in, there's not necessarily 12 players in the Dark Zone because there's too many brackets.
Yeah, and that's something they're actually changing. So what was it before? There was... I actually remember
1 to 15 and probably 15 to 30. And then there was the tiers. Each tier had their own bracket, maybe.
So there's probably, 7 tiers?
Yeah. Now there's 2. Which means...
I like it.
And... not saying that we're running out of PvE content, but it's been out there for a while, which means people are going to be going into the Dark Zone, so they're going to fill up. I think once they implement these changes, I think your opinion might change.
Yeah, especially with one of the things that's going to be coming up in a minute.
What?
Well, it's coming up in a minute, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
The incentive to go into the Dark Zone, you mean?
Yeah, well, that's what everyone's kind of missing at the minute, isn't it? There's not much reason to go into the Dark Zone if the loot in the open world is just as good. Well, that all changes today. But yes, obviously, they're going to change that to 2 brackets. And
enough for a shelf.
Yes. I mean, I'm interested. I'd like to see how a whole server of 12 players, because we haven't seen it yet. How many players have we come across in the last week? I haven't seen more than 4 or 5 players in a Dark Zone at once, all squaring off against each other. So it'd be interesting to see 12 players, even if that's teams, even if that's solo. I'm interested to see it work. Either way, they're not changing it. That's what they've said. They're not changing it.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Straight from Terry Spear, unfortunately. Okay, so I don't know how much of a big deal it is for you boys, but XP loss.
No,
I think me and Luke were fluctuating yesterday. Fucking hell, I was like 27, 28, 27, 28.
It does feel like every time you die in the Dark Zone, you'd lose a rank. But yeah, every time you kill somebody in the Dark Zone, you gain a rank. So it literally was, like Mike just said, down a level, up a level, down a level, up a level.
Yeah, I remember on Monday, you guys were trying to extract, and I was extracting a team of players so you could extract. And I think I went down a couple of levels because I died a couple of times. And then I just cleared a landmark and I was back to where I was.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not very forgiving, especially when you've got Dark Zone perks that kind of tie to your level as well. That's kind of something that changed from the Division 1. That happened a lot in the Division 1, didn't it? I'm pretty sure you dropped rank quite a bit.
At the start of the Dark Zone and at the
on.
end of the Dark Zone lifestyle lifetime, you did, yes, but not so much in the middle. But you know, once you get to rank 50 and once you got to rank 99 in the old game, I don't think it really matters because then you're just earning caches beyond 50, aren't you? So
okay, so incentive to go into the Dark Zone, Rob. It's been about a minute. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, if you seem very excited about this one.
Well, no, I'm more excited about the other thing that's after this. But yeah. So if you go into the Dark Zone after this patch, you will get up to gear score 515 items.
Yay! Woo.
Doom. Which is good. I mean, you can get 515 items now.
Not legit though, is it?
You just recraft a 500 item and it'll go to gear score 515. But you know,
so maybe you should put that on the.
You can't do it with weapons though, so yeah, the weapons are going to be a big deal, but not so much the gear, because I don't think there's going to be much difference between a 500 pair of gloves and a 515 pair of gloves.
Well, it will in the ODZ, won't it?
It's not going to stop you wanting a full set of 515 gear, though, is it?
No, but it's a clever ploy for them to get people in the Dark Zone, and people are going to fall for it. Fair enough. But I guarantee you, there isn't going to be much difference between...
It's an edge. That's literally what they said. They want to give dedicated Dark Zone players an edge for their builds.
They're going to be edgy.
They're edgy. Straight edge. Luke, are you happy about this? I mean, come on, put in some of the highest level gear in the Dark Zone.
Yeah.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
I like it as a Dark Zone player because, you know, more to do in the Dark Zone, first of all, and second of all, it's more people to shoot at in the Dark Zone. I can understand some people's frustrations that it is only in the Dark Zone that you will get this new, improved, higher, more powerful loot, but tough.
But it makes sense if you think about it, because of what? Everywhere else is normalized for PvP, so it's not going to matter. And if you're only getting a slight edge, is it worth chasing it? Probably not.
It's going to piss a lot of PvEers off.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to ask. Do you not think that 515 loot should drop from heroic strongholds or missions?
And the raid. Definitely the fucking
raid.
And
the raid. Yeah.
If it doesn't drop from the raid, I'm going to be livid.
What if even higher stuff drops from the raid?
Well, then I'll be really happy.
Okay.
But then they need to up the ODZ stuff.
Also,
to at least be on par.
Yes, to be on par, I would agree with
Mr. Terry Spear kind of accidentally confirmed a World Tier 6.
Yes, he did.
Well,
he like, if you, not when he was talking about a World Tier 6, if you go back a little bit, he kind of accidentally said it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of going into the next bit, which we're going to kind of go into in a minute.
Sorry, Mike, I keep jumping ahead.
But they're on about like buffs and nerfs in the game, And the reason they're not just buffing everything, he said, is because you can only go so high because it causes issues when you add new world tiers, especially if you look at other games like World of Warcraft, where you add like new worlds. And
wait a minute. If something drops at 515 and then you alter one of them stats on it, it's going to go to 530.
Unconfirmed.
Well, no, that's...
some people were asking that in Twitch chat, and it got completely and utterly ignored.
Oh, they might be capped.
I'm down for another world tier, though. I'm going to say, not just yet. Jesus, like, can we just spend more than 2 weeks on a fucking world tier?
Calling it now. World Tier
Some of us
6,
did.
first update of Year 2.
If not 3/4 of the way through the year.
Yeah, that last update that we don't know much about yet.
Yeah, possibly.
Because it gives you that thing to strive for. And didn't we say, I'm pretty sure it was one of our maybe our IFMs in one of the freaking 100 odd episodes that we've done, that was like, can we have another world tier bracket? So
Yeah.
I'm on board. If this is what they're going to keep doing, I understand people are going to get pissed, but I don't know. It depends on the content. As long as the content kind of, oh no, I just realized as well, that sucks.
Why?
I was just thinking about the raid, because we're going to get a raid and then we'll get an increase in world tier. So does that mean the difficulty of the world tier goes up, or does it stay the same like a certain other game, and then the next raid has a higher difficulty and they don't, do you know what I mean? You can only...
Well, no, that's the beauty of the world tier system. The NPCs get harder, not the content.
If they boost the raid as well. I was just thinking that.
They would.
Because
It
it's something
wouldn't,
that
because
didn't...
you're changing world tier, so everything in the game increases as the world tier does, doesn't it?
But technically you have to get on a helicopter to go elsewhere, so it's not in the world.
Also not confirmed.
Yes, it pretty much is.
Pretty
You go
much.
to the helicopter.
Pretty much is not confirmed.
Does that mean we start the raid crashing a helicopter?
Probably.
Probably is
driving,
also not
probably.
confirmed.
I'm guessing that's what's going to happen, though. It'd be fun if it does.
Rob, what was the changes with regards to Thieves Den?
The ammo thing. People, you can select which weapon the ammo goes onto, and there's more things happening with the Thieves Den that they didn't kind of say, but we'll learn more in the future.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it was kind of made out to be like the big ooh of the Dark Zone, and then it's kind of like, yeah, I think that silence said it all.
Yeah, awkward pause.
Sweet awkward pause. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more changes in the future. This isn't the end be all of not only the normalized, but the occupied Dark Zone. So expect more and future updates to it. We just have to wait till post title update 3 before we get all these things. Are we happy with most of the changes to the Dark Zone, though?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to playing it.
I think it really depends on what they do with TTK and all the rest of it in the PTS at the minute. And obviously how builds and skill power and all the rest of it kind of end up in the next patch.
Well, that's what we're going into next, isn't it? Like, we're going to start talking about the talents and stuff and how that's going to change builds.
Yeah, do you want to leave conflict till the end?
I mean, you can quickly just bash through conflict. I mean, there's not much changing.
Exactly.
Go for it, Luke. Can you?
So there's been a quick UI change in conflict. The UI will now display the real value of your enemy's armor, not just a standard value. So when a player has a shit ton of armor, you'll actually see that displayed accordingly. The damage and armor boosts that become active over the course of a match will be lowered by 50%. They should still have an impact on gameplay, but not be the be-all and end-all of winning or losing a match.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when you die, you come back in, like you basically respawn, and it's, oh shit, I've got my skills ready to go again. So you've got that.
Not that.
Oh, it's not that.
No, we're not talking about that.
The damage boost and the armor boost that you can get by unlocking.
Oh,
a
right,
cache.
yeah.
But
I thought it was the skills.
as Mike alluded to, they're fixing the skill cooldown. So if you've got a skill on cooldown and you die, it's not instantly refreshed. Now you can say your bit, Mike.
If you join the game with a long cooldown on, sometimes that can stick in. Like you can, like if you're in queue and you've got a cooldown, and that sometimes carries over.
Right.
They've got rid of that as well.
And last but not least, there's more synchronizing of team spawns. So there's a better chance that you will actually spawn with a teammate, so you don't just run in solo and die, and run in solo and die again.
That means you might have to wait longer to spawn, though, right?
Possibly,
sure about that.
Yeah. We'll have to see how that one plays out.
It's a system that kind of works pretty well on Battlefield 1. I think it's used on Battlefield 1. I know it's definitely used on Star Wars Battlefront 2, and that is quite a good system rather than just being
give
a
a
single
squad
player.
spawn. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that's what they're trying to do. Because like me and Boris were doing it we were playing Conflict last night, and it was kind of, you're just seeing people run out, die to 4 people, and it's just in a loop. Your team's not together at all. But yeah, I'm interested to see how that changes. And then obviously the PvP and all the talents that we're going to talk about in a minute are going to affect that and maybe shape conflict a little bit differently than it currently is. Does anyone know if the new map is actually out yet, or is it going to be launched on the PTS this week?
Don't know.
Pass. Okay.
I know nothing.
You know nothing. Okay. Exotics, boys.
Yeah.
Is anyone actually running exotics?
I am, but I don't use them.
I was going to say actually properly use them as well.
No, I think that's the problem they're trying to address with this. They don't feel special.
They don't feel powerful, is what I would say.
They don't. I don't know. I've not even used it. I've literally equipped it for another reason. That's it. Do you know what I mean?
Would it be the chatterbox by any chance?
Yeah, it would. With an LMG build. And it's kind of like...
Basically, the Division 2's version of Division 1's FAMAS before it became the Bullfrog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I even equipped, what was it, the Lullaby? Yeah, it's the Lullaby.
If you use the chatterbox with a FAMAS, it's really fun. Just saying. Don't
say that. I might get nerfed. They nerf fun. I'm joking. Just say that now. Yeah. I think one of the things that they tried to say on the State of the Game is the fact that they want to kind of give unique playstyles to people that are running exotics. They're not just going to be damage dealing exotics. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I don't like the way they're not really being utilized now. There's the exotic sniper that we will get next week, potentially.
Pestilence.
No.
Oh, Nemesis.
That I've already seen the perks for because it was leaked. And I'm not I'm not overwhelmed by it, but the damage numbers apparently are quite high. But everyone's saying that it's not true because it's like twice as powerful as the M700. So that seems a bit ridiculous. But I don't know. Where I was going with that.
Well, it's a sniper rifle. I mean, in some respects, I don't know. I can understand where they're coming from with it. They don't want it to be like a DPS device, if you know what I mean. They don't want it to be OP because people are just going to use it in PvP, because we've seen that happen before. That's all people run, isn't it? Like the house. That's all anyone run at one point in the Division 1, or the Bullfrog.
Well, that those 2 weeks when the G36 was super strong.
Well, there was that. Yeah.
Remember that? And I got one the last day. Son of a bitch.
But do they need to be DPS focused, or
Some of them do.
Yeah, as weapons, they probably do. Yeah, because. Well, no, I didn't mean that to sound sarcastic, but if you're trying to use a weaker gun, you're at a disadvantage. It doesn't matter what the talents are. If it's weaker, people aren't going to use it. They just look at the damage number and go, "Nah, put it in stash."
What if you had an exotic that did basically what Sentry does? And then that would be effective in PvP, but it wouldn't actually do raw damage. This is the bit where I get told like there's something already like that in the game. But do you know what I mean? Like that's the sort of stuff I would expect. It doesn't necessarily have to be exotic because it's damage dealing, but it's exotic because it has a certain purpose. Like people having trouble doing control points or heroic difficulty missions, then have exotics that help you do that. Same with the gear sets. Like one of the things that I will always take away from Destiny is you had loot in that game. I can't remember if they're exotics or not, but they helped you in under certain circumstances, and that's why you ran those exotics under circumcised. Apparently, that's what we're going to under certain circumstances. Do you know what I mean, Rob?
Yeah,
like
that was
run
the exotic armor, which we haven't had any of in Division 2 yet. So
you'd have like Black
yet.
Spindle or something, or I can't think of any other Destiny weapons right now because I haven't played Destiny in a long time.
Icebreaker.
You know what I mean by that. Like something that would help you under certain instances. And I kind of feel like they don't do that. They don't necessarily have to be good just for PvP. And I think that's what everyone's kind of focusing on.
But thing is, some of them are good, like, and you have to change your playstyle to play with them, like Merciless. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to miss a couple of shots, right, to get the explodey thing to explode. You have to like shoot, miss, shoot, miss, shoot, miss.
Yeah.
And that's completely like, I was like playing with it. I was like, this just doesn't feel natural. But like it changes your playstyle, which is a good thing, I guess.
But I thought people were looking for those weird, janky things to do.
But then it would, like, the Merciless would be a lot better if it hit like a truck. But it doesn't. Like that, I think that's the problem. Like if you do play as the playstyle, you should be rewarded for playing as like that playstyle.
Yeah.
And do a shit ton of damage. And you're not.
It's like you're doing all the setup, but you're not actually getting anything from it.
Yeah. So that's why people are just using the holster talents, because the other two are just kind of like, no, what's the point? Can't bother. I'm not going to, I can do better, more DPS with a normal weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah, no, you're completely right.
Especially with some of the exotics having quite a grind to them. Like you have to farm for the parts and then sacrifice, for example, the Liberty, you have to sacrifice a D50 for it. And we're fully expecting the sniper rifle to need a sniper rifle to be sacrificed for it. You know, if we've put 2 weeks worth of effort into getting the exotic, make it fucking special.
Well, it's not only that. I mean, like in some instances, to upgrade it to the next world tier, you have to have an exotic part. So you must have like scrapped an exotic to then level up the one you've got to the next world tier. At some point, we're going to have to do that, by the sounds of it, to the next world tier bracket. Are you going to want to do that? Or are you just going to leave them in your stash? I've got them all. What's the point?
You have to make a conscious choice in which one you destroy, which one don't you use. Like I did it with my first Merciless. Luckily, I got another one, but
why am I surprised? But yeah,
like the next day.
No, I completely agree with that. But there's going to be some people that are going to want to do that. But what is the point if it's? I mean, what was the new LMG that got released?
Pestilence.
They're
buffing that apparently.
Yeah.
Because the damage numbers for that gun is terrible.
And what's the perk? What's the main exotic perk on it?
Don't know.
I
know nothing about that weapon.
That's the exotic M60, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Why is it at the very least not on par with an M60? Why does it have to be lower? I'm not saying it has to be higher, but why lower?
Maybe because of the talent.
Because of what the talents do. I don't know. I don't know what they do.
I haven't got the information.
But if that would then therefore make it special. If the base damage was the same as an M60 and it was the talent of the exotic that made it slightly better than the regular one, use the exotic one. That's what you've got it for. That's why you wanted it. That's why it's an exotic. It's special. It doesn't have to be OP beyond the M60. Just make the talent, make it that little bit better. That's all. It doesn't have to be game-breakingly NPC melty ruling PvP sort of weapon. Just make it a little bit better.
Apparently, that's the boot. They're buffing it, so it will be more effective in PvP. Though that's supposed to be the PvP weapon, like the exotic, because of where it drops.
Yeah.
So the exotic talents for it are Plague of the Outcasts. After hitting the same enemy 20 times, the enemy is inflicted with the Plague of Outcasts. So whenever an enemy with the Plague of Outcast is killed, they leave a toxic cloud for 10 seconds that deals 200% weapon damage per second to anyone inside. So it's like a DOT thing. Pestilence, the debuff reduces healing received by 50% for 10 seconds. Whenever an enemy with Pestilence would be downed, they are instead instantly killed. The debuff is removed if the enemy is repaired to full armor. And finally, Outcast Resilience, whilst holstered, gain 20% bonus for 5 seconds whenever you are affected by blind, bleed, or burning. It sounds good, but it just sounds like it's weak then. I mean, obviously, because that's why they're buffing it.
It's very... I don't know what the word is. Fuck. Situational. It's very situational.
But that's what you want, isn't it?
Well, that's kind of what you were just asking for, Mike, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
That's
literally what...
Yeah, but it's very specifically situational. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but isn't that what people want from the Division? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but like, there's literally a thing going around at the minute. Yeah, is it with the chatterbox? I can't remember which one it is. Is it with the chatterbox with regards to reloading?
Yes.
So you can reload mid, whatever, and then you get all your ammo back.
Oh, is this what Boris was talking about? You start reloading your LMG, go to melee, and you still get the reload and the chatterbox procs.
Yeah, because
those are situational things. That's what confuses me. It's like, maybe it's just me, but it just seems a bit...
but reloading is a little bit different to that.
No, I know, but we can't complain about talents when people are already doing weird situational shit in the game. To some respect.
Yeah, but the chances of you putting Pestilence on and not actually proccing in like a 4-hour gameplay is like, what, 3, maybe 4 times of it actually doing anything?
Well, it needs adjusting then, doesn't it?
And like, it's just like, what's the point?
True. Well, this is what the PTS is for, isn't it? We can give feedback.
Yeah, we give feedback every week, Mike.
True. Have I told you I hate you today?
No.
Anyway, that's exotics. There's going to be some stuff changed on gear. The main thing today that is probably going to hit everyone hard is talents.
Not me.
Boys. Okay, so basically, there's a lot of talents that are damage dealing and fun to play. There's some other healing talents as well.
Oh, dude, they have buffed some as well. Don't be like that.
Yeah, they have. I'm not dissing. I'm just saying.
Do you want to go through all of these, and therefore, do we want to take one each, or do you just want to pick out the ones that you really use, like friends?
No, you can go through one each if you want. You might as well. They're all there.
Unhinged. Damage bonus reduced to 20%. Handling reduced to 20%.
Strained.
Just to state,
go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, you might as well preface the fact that all these talents are on the PTS live now. You can go test them out. And they're probably going to get adjusted over the next couple of weeks. This isn't the end result. Sorry, Nick.
Strained. Missing armor requirement now increased to 10%.
I thought you were going to say strained Robert on the toilet. Spike, headshot, kills grant 35%.
Mike, you're reading them out of order. Don't do that, dude. Don't do that.
I completely missed that one.
Don't do that. You missed
Frenzy. Even though that's not quite spelled right. In PvE, reloading weapons from NT grant 20%. Huh?
Nothing. Don't worry. Shh.
20% weapon damage and 15% rate of fire for 3 seconds. In PvP, it will be 15% and a 15% rate of fire for 3 seconds.
Preservation. PvE killing an enemy repairs 10% armor over 5 seconds. Headshots improve the repair 20%. In PvP, 5% armor over 3 seconds. Headshots to 50%. Requires 7 defense attributes.
Spike. Headshot kills grant 35% skill damage for 20 seconds. Requires 5 utility attributes.
Reformation. Headshot kills increase skill repair and healing by 15%. Now requires 9 utility attributes.
Oh, I get the good one. Safeguard.
Woo!
Reduced healing bonus to 50%. Boo. Reduced duration to 5 seconds. What was it before? Like, it was more than 5, wasn't it?
I got it was like 15 or 20
I think
seconds.
it was 7. And you need less than 4 defense attributes.
Clutch. Increased health gained per critical hit to 20%. Reduced armor gained per critical hit to 1%.
Surgical. Reduced crit hit chance bonus by 5%.
Spotter. Increased weapon damage to pulse targets to 20%. Plus 20%. Increased requirements to 5 utility attributes. That's a good change.
Kneecap. Shooting an enemy in the legs has a 15% chance to apply the bleed.
Entrench. Headshot from cover. Repair armor. Increased to 10% of your armor.
Oh man, I really do get all the good ones. Patience. After being in cover for 5 seconds, armor repairs by 5% every 1 second, and this requires 9 defense attributes now.
Patience.
It was
something
7.
Rob doesn't have.
I don't use it either.
I thought you did use patience.
No.
Unbreakable. In PvE, it's 70% of max armor is repaired when your armor is depleted. Armor kits used within the next 7 seconds are not consumed. In PvP, it is 20% of max armor and 7 seconds. Now requires 11 defensive attributes.
Woohoo!
Bloodsucker. PvE, depleting enemies' armor adds a stack of 25% bonus for 10 seconds. Max stack is increased to 6. In PvP, 20% armor bonus for 5 seconds, max stack of 5, and it will require you to have 11 defensive attributes.
Berserk. PvP. For 10% weapon damage for every 20% armor depleted. Requires 11 offensive attributes. An AR, LMG, and SMG equipped.
Bloodlust. In PvP, swapping weapons within 3 seconds of a kill grants 35% weapon damage for 5 seconds.
That's PvE, dude. You said PvP.
Did I? Sorry, PvE. The PvP version is 20% weapon damage for 5 seconds.
And finally, Blacksmith. Killing an enemy with your sidearm repairs 50% of your armor and can occur once every 15 seconds. It will require you to have 11 defensive attributes.
Woo!
Silence.
I'm letting it all sink in.
What do you reckon?
This is kind of clever because they've upped the amount of... Because this isn't just a nerf to these talents, because they've upped the amount of attributes you need to activate them, which means you can no longer... Well, you probably can have a couple, but you can no longer have... Because some of the gear has like single or double attributes on, which tend to be a lot higher than the pieces of gear that have like 4. So you end up with more damage that way. So they've kind of nerfed that as well. So it's kind of clever.
Another thing I thought of, I could be wrong, but it kind of feels like they're trying to stop the reoccurrence of these all-around builds where you've got like a DPS player with health talents and all the rest of it.
Hybrids.
Yeah. They're trying to stop the hybrid builds a little bit. So because it's an RPG, They want players to be like DPS, medic,
tank DPS.
skill. Yeah. Which makes sense. Which one? Well, we're going to end up with a dark zone of just DPS players. Probably.
No.
You don't reckon?
No. It's going to go tank. Maybe.
Oh, God. Not again.
Maybe.
Not again. Luke, your thoughts on the changes to weapon talents?
I like
not weapon talents. Sorry.
I like most of them. Yeah, I like most of them. I think there's a couple that seems like they've been hit a bit too hard. But, you know, first iteration of PTS, I'm sure they'll find the balance that's required on the ones that have perhaps been nerfed a bit too far. I agree with what Rob was saying about the increased attribute requirements for some of them, because it will stop people running too many things all at once.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, where some of the OP builds had sort of come from recently. You know, you get this proc to this proc to this proc. You're doing all the damage, but you've got all your attributes into armor, for example. How does that work? You just you're back to a Division 1 scenario with Predator's Mark doing all the damage, even though you're tanky as fuck. So.
Or Striker, when what was it? You had to deal, or was it health? You had to deal into health?
That was Pred.
Oh, was it Pred? I can't remember which
it's
one.
It's like 9k Pred health build, wasn't health build to get all the...
Or was it Striker
damage.
where you had to stack into DPS, but it wasn't diminishing? So therefore you end up with a stupid DPS build. Stupidly high DPS build.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I think it also stops you from running other stuff as well. So if you need DPS, you're not going to be able to run like health talents and all the rest of it.
Well, in the current build, you can get 4-7-7, so 4 offensive, 7 defensive, and 7 utility, and those 3 can activate a shit ton of damage.
Mm.
And yeah, that amount of skill power and tankiness.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the tweet from Frederick Thylander. He was replying to someone who was complaining about the changes to the talents and all the rest of it. And he basically said what they're trying to do on the PTS is when there's too many extreme talents that requires the game to have big health pools, the enemies end up turning into bullet sponges because you're dealing so much damage. They need to up the pool of health for the NPCs. And then for anyone not running certain talents, it's going to be even worse, isn't it? Which kind of makes sense. They're trying to stop this whole bullet sponge thing, but leave it to be difficult at the same time. So how do you do that? You have to kill the amount of damage that players are doing, but also reduce the tankiness of the NPCs.
They've got to be careful though, because you've got that feel good factor of when you're dealing a lot of damage. When you got that power, it's like power. I don't know what you want to call it. Something that Destiny does really well. Like you feel powerful.
Yeah,
you don't want to lose that, because then you lose the fun.
I mean, he does go on to say this isn't done solely in isolation. It's part of a rebalancing of the game based on feedback that the DPS needs are insane on heroic, leaving no room to spec into survivability. So to get through a heroic, you're going to have to stack into DPS quite a bit. Yeah, you can't. You've got no survivability at all.
No, just get good.
I know it's Thylander that said it, so he knows an awful lot more about the game than I do, but I kind of disagree with that final sentence. Or disagree with his assessment of the feedback that you only need DPS.
I disagree. Yeah.
We did both those heroic strongholds during the 2 invaded weeks and only wiped on each one of them once. And I know for a fact my build isn't all DPS. I'm pretty sure yours isn't too, Mike.
No, mine's not.
So
mine was damage to elites to a certain Yeah, mine was mainly damage to elites with an LMG build. But yeah, I kind of agree because it's down to team play.
Mm.
It's the whole. It really brings back the whole point of the specializations and all the rest of it. And something I think we've been saying for a long time is it would be nice to have a game where we have certain players picking certain roles instead of just having I'm a DPS player. You've got four DPS players going into content. And if that's what people want to do, then that's absolutely fine. But you can't really complain about that because it's an RPG. You should have a skill person, a tanky person, and DPS players.
But you've also got to remember that they're designing the game for solo players as well.
Players, yeah. There is that side of it as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's difficult.
I'm going to try and solo an heroic mission at some point. Just to also have a perspective with my squishy DPS build, just to see how far I can get.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just the way I see the game. But I always see the game as a group activity.
Especially content that's on heroic.
Well, you think going into a raid or strongholds, and I know certain activities can be done as a solo player, but you would think even now that you would cater to actually group play, like not forcing, but it would be nice if we had something kind of laid out for that.
I'd be interested to know if heroics actually scale or if they're just like they are. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I know the missions and strongholds scale. If you go in on your own, you deal the damage you do to the enemies is higher, or they die quicker, and there's less of them. Right?
Hmm.
If you go into a heroic solo, does that same scaling apply? If it doesn't, then holy shit. But there must be some kind of scaling, otherwise that would just be, I don't know.
If you're going to try one solo, I would hope so for your for your sake.
For my sanity.
Trying to do Roosevelt Island on heroic.
Oh no, I'm not doing a stronghold on heroic. I'll do a mission, dude.
He's gonna do a side mission. I know you can't do a side mission on heroic, but the easiest content you can do.
Could do the easiest mission.
But yeah, some interesting choices. I think there's a lot of good stuff there with regards to the Dark Zone. I think there's a lot of welcome stuff with regards to the Dark Zone, and the fact that that's not all it is going to be more ongoing conversations with that, especially with that patch being, I would assume, a month or so out, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an ongoing trial and error sort of thing.
Yeah, well, we had it through the life cycle of Division 1, so...
Yeah. But then it's never a bad thing, because it means the meta's going to change.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, you've got to wait for all these changes with regards to the talents on gear and weapons to kind of come into the game and kind of see what the reaction to that is, so then we can kind of make a decision on the Dark Zone, how that's going to play out, because obviously the meta that comes off the next update is going to reflect how the Dark Zone is going to play out and the choices that they make there with regards to like TTK and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for news today. I mean, there's some other random bits, but it's fine. I think group tab. There's good, like the stuff they're making changes to group chat, and you can toggle display personal and group loot drops now. If you really want, so you can make this sweet loot drop secret. Pretend you never picked that stuff up, right, Rob?
What? Wait a minute.
Or was it? Didn't you get called out for picking up a G36 this week?
No, it wasn't me. Boris picked it up, even though he thought he dropped it.
Yeah. He dropped it next to his own boss.
And he accused everyone else in the team before he admitted to it himself.
Well, they don't call him the sneaky Russian for nothing. Anyway, moving on to questions and feedback. I did put out a very quick question in chat, just asking on people's thoughts on the early changes that we're seeing in the PTS. And yeah,
They
Do
all
you guys
told you
wanna
to
go over
fuck
that?
off.
yeah. Roberts,
What?
do you want to take the first feedback?
Okay.
What?
Whistler today said, I'm happy. That's it. That's what he said.
That's not what he said.
I'm happy they can constantly try to improve the balance of the force. It does make it challenging for someone who doesn't play 24/7 to keep up with the builds when they keep changing. That's true.
Yeah, I think
Not
that's
like-
definitely like the harsh reality of it, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. But there is a lot of loot dropping in the game, so I don't know.
Whistler also added that it makes him want more stash space so that he can keep everything, plus the ability to recalibrate and compare his backpack and stash all at once. He did put in brackets, maybe not everything.
Oh
Even
no,
though he
yeah, that would
used the
be a
word
good
everything.
thing. That would be a good thing to add is the ability to look at your stash while you're recalibrating.
I
Yeah.
think they did talk about it last week, didn't they?
No, you were dreaming.
Yeah, I don't remember them saying that. I'm not
okay.
saying they didn't, but I don't remember it. But that is a good idea.
Well, maybe I'm just remembering something from a nightmare. I don't know. Angry Chef said, I'm working. I did download the PTS before I left, though, but I won't know until tonight what's new. Thank you very much for your feedback.
Borrow the Blade, don't know who that is. Should 515 drop from somewhere else other than the DD? Yes. Does it really matter if you have 515 in PvE? With what we know about the stat ranges, with the current gear we have? No, it's not really going to matter at all.
I feel like we've answered the majority of that.
Are we really having that much of a power spike from 500 vest to 515? That warrants the 515 gear to drop. See, Boris thinks exactly the same as I do. He's skeptical about it just being a ploy for them to getting people in the dark zone. Is it wrong of me wanting to slap people who say they should drop 515 gear outside the DZ asking for a friend?
Yeah, they should drop 515 gear from the loot caches inside control points. So you can just, like, when you load in for the day.
Well, no, they did say that you can get stuff over 500 from your efficiency now as well. Did they say that? Or was I dreaming? But it wasn't going to be 515. It will be slightly over 500. Like when we were in gear score, when we were at gear score 550 and we were getting FPCs that were like 454 if you were lucky. No one ever oh no, you guys wouldn't have experienced that. Just giving me fucking
evil looks.
No, you were smiling at me.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Why do you want me to glare at you?
Oh no, just say something. Agree with me, or say fuck off, or call me a
Yes.
cunt or something.
Yes.
There we go. All right, next question. Or statement. These questions? Not sure.
Feedback.
People.
Rafi14 says, hey guys, loving the show, but I have a question. So it's technically a question on what you guys think if they added a ping system like Apex Legends has. I haven't played it, unfortunately. I know Rob and Luke has. If I'm fighting an enemy in one area and one of us happens to notice the boss, I'd like to ping it out instead of typing in chat when playing with randoms to alert my team. Even coming across loot boxes all over the place, I'd like to ping it for my team to give them an alert on what I found. Was wondering what your opinion is on this idea. Great show, guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much.
So like
thank you
in
for the
Siege
question.
then?
Yes.
There we
I'm
go.
pretty sure we've discussed this before in the Division.
They did have a system in the first game where you could number NPCs.
Yeah, come on.
They're-
We're
what-
like in
what-
2019. I'm sure
no.
we can come up with something different than numbering NPCs.
No, you put like a timer on it, and then once that timer, then everyone shoots.
I can imagine he's talking like if you're matchmaking, you're playing solo, you're matchmaking, and you're jumping in with other players, and you're not on microphone, then you want a method of communicating outside of the chat box, I would assume, very quickly and precise. Doing something like what Overwatch does would be quite good.
Yeah, but that's all it was you ADS'd at the thing and you hit the ping button and it put a timer on them, from what I recall. And you could do it to multiple enemies.
Yeah, most people did it whilst we were chicken dancing in the DZ, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like give such and such player number one and everybody focus number one. Because he's the hero.
But I think he's asking for something more than that.
Well,
You know what I mean?
he's asking for a ping system and one existed.
Ping a boss.
It wasn't the best ping system, I will agree with you, Mike, but at least it had one.
No, it was not very good because no one knew about it unless you went in the settings and actually found what the button was. Like you didn't know how to do it.
I'll tell you what, though, that is something I never looked for when we ported from PS4 to PC. I never looked what the ping buttons were, whereas I knew what it was on my PlayStation controller.
What's to say it isn't already in Division 2? We just don't know what the button is.
What? Mind
All of us are
blown.
going to be checking after this show.
Next question. Question for the boys. With the free yearly plan, do you think we will see the addition of new weapons alongside the new exotics, the way the showstopper AA-12 is now a regular weapon in Division 2? No. I think we'll get new exotics. I'm not sure we'll get many new weapons. It seems like there's a plethora of weapons already in the game. I think they went sort of balls deep in weapons to start with. They might just introduce the odd new exotic weapon. But we've got exotic armor to come at some point, haven't we, that we know about? So,
Dude, I can't wait.
Maybe new talents.
True.
I'm scared, but I'm also very interested to see what exotic gear pieces we're going to get.
Barrett's Chest 2.0 confirmed.
And you have to grind Leray Barrett for it again.
Lexington.
Rob's just got nightmares of Lexington.
Lexington till your eyes bleed.
That needs to be on a t-shirt. Lexington till your eyes bleed. Does anyone... Rob, do you want to read out the last question? GITM.
Hey guys, love the show. Got a non-division question for you. Would you rather have fingers the length of legs, or legs the length of fingers? Keep up the awesome work on the podcast.
That sounds like a question you would have wrote, Rob.
Would you rather have fingers the length of
He's really thinking about it.
legs the length of
As a short guy, I feel like I've already got legs the length of fingers, so I'll go for fingers the length of legs just to be different.
Can you imagine trying to hold a cup of tea?
Can you imagine trying to play PC?
You'd be like up here.
I don't know.
I'm kind of think like fingers for legs. No, legs for fingers.
Legs the length of fingers?
Yeah. I mean, at least you can still do stuff. Otherwise, if you have legs the length of fingers...
I value my hands over my legs, so yeah.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very much for all the questions and feedback this week. Robert, it's that time of day where you get to tell the listeners where the lovely people can find us.
You can find us over at SITREP Radio on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as our personal accounts. Send any questions or feedback for the show to sitrepRadiopod@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Discord. The link is in the show notes. We want to hear your thoughts on the news and topics we cover, so be sure to leave a comment and join us in the discussion in those places.
Fucking nailed it.
I always do. What are you talking about?
You didn't on Locked On. I'm just saying. And if you haven't listened to that episode, go check out the Locked On podcast. We guested over there whilst Wilco got married this weekend, just gone.
Oh yeah, congrats and commiserations, Wilco.
Please leave a review of the show using the podcast app of your choice, and please be kind. We genuinely enjoyed reading them all. The feedback is excellent, and at the end of the day, it does actually help other people to find our lovely little show. If you listen all the way to the very end of the show, you will hear all the juicy details about the other awesome podcasts that are available on the Mash Those Buttons network. Thank you.
I kind of feel like I made it sound like we took over the Locked On podcast whilst Wilco got married. Anyway, we do live stream as often as we can, so if you're interested in dropping by and chatting with us whilst we play The Division and nothing else, you can find us all over at twitch.tv/SITREP Radio. We have been SITREP Radio. Thank you so much for listening, agents, and we will catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Sequence complete. Security protocols deactivated. Server data replaced and CPU destroyed. Terminating connection in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secure.